Have you ever met someone who smiled at you, but something about it didn't feel right? Have you ever trusted someone's words, only to realize later they were carefully rehearsed? Sometimes, the most dangerous people don't come to destroy you. They come to disguise themselves as your friend. One of life's greatest deceptions isn't always what people say, it's how they say it. It's not the words that catch you off guard, but the smile behind them. Some people won't show up wearing horns or fangs. No, they come dressed in kindness, wrapped in charm, speaking soft words. But beneath that warmth lies intention rooted in darkness. They act nice. They act polite. They even act spiritual. But don't be too quick to call someone good just because they flatter you. Flattery isn't love, it's a weapon. It's used by those who don't care about your soul, but crave your weakness. There's a fine line between encouragement and flattery. Encouragement lifts you up because it sees your value. Flattery lifts you up because it wants something from you. It feeds your ego so it can silence your discernment. It builds trust without earning it. And that's why you must be cautious when someone always tells you exactly what you want to hear. Those who truly care about your future will correct you. Those who want you to grow will challenge you. But those with hidden motives, they'll only praise you. They'll butter you up to cut you deeper later. I've met people who could smile with their lips yet curse with their hearts, who spoke softly while thinking violently. They didn't want peace, they wanted access. That's what flattery does. It opens doors not through truth or loyalty, but through illusion. It's not born from love, it's rooted in manipulation. You may think they're kind, but they're only patient, waiting for the perfect moment to turn on you. Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes, it's the friend who praises you to your face but competes with you in secret. It's the person who applauds your dreams in public but quietly hopes you fail. They say you're amazing not because they believe it, but because they want to control you with their words. And the moment you step beyond that control, their compliments stop and the criticism begins. The Bible warns of wolves in sheep's clothing, not wolves in wolf's clothing. Deception doesn't announce itself. It disguises itself as kindness, love, and help. It hides behind good intentions and polite gestures. That's why we need discernment more than popularity, truth more than approval. You don't need a crowd clapping for you if half of them are holding knives behind their backs. Remember this, not everyone who claps for you is truly cheering you on. Some people clap just to blend in. Others clap so you'll never suspect they secretly want to see you fall. The easiest way for them to get close is to act nice. Not to be nice, just to act that way. That's why you should never measure a person's character by how they treat you when they want something. Instead, watch how they treat people they can't use. Watch how they speak about others when no one else is listening. Because the same person who praises you today with shallow words might poison your name tomorrow with deep bitterness. And if you've been hurt by people who came into your life with sweet words but dark intentions, remember this. It wasn't your fault for being kind, for loving deeply, or for believing the best in someone. But now that you've seen it, let it make you wiser, not colder. Pray for discernment, not isolation. God never said to avoid love. He said, test the spirits. He never said to shut people out, but he did say, guard your heart. So don't stop being good. Just stop confusing flattery with favor. Stop mistaking smooth talk for pure motives. Not everyone who smiles at you is for you, and not everyone who compliments you is loyal to you. Some use kind words to distract you from their evil plans. They walk into your life acting like they were sent from heaven, speaking softly, looking sincere, saying, you can trust me. But here's the danger. They ask for your trust before they've earned it. They want access to your life without passing through the gate of time, truth, and testing. And that's where deception begins. Anyone who demands your trust too quickly is usually hiding something. Trust isn't something you hand out. It's something proven over time. It's not spoken, it's lived. You have to be careful with people who rush intimacy. Those who move fast, not because they love your soul, but because they love what they can gain from it. The devil doesn't come to your door wearing red or holding a pitchfork. He arrives softly, whispering what you've always wanted to hear. And some people enter your life the same way, smiling, praising, pretending to be everything you ever needed, while secretly collecting information the moment they get close enough to listen. They'll ask questions that sound innocent, but their motive isn't connection, it's control. They say, tell me your dreams, but what they really want is ammunition to use later. They promise, you can be real with me, but the moment you open up, your words become weapons in their hands. While you think you've found safety, they're quietly preparing to tear you down when it benefits them. The danger of trusting too soon is that you only see the presentation, not the pattern. You see what they want you to see, but behind the performance is someone who's never earned your loyalty. Behind that soft voice often hides a spirit that hasn't revealed its true colors. I've learned this. The enemy of your soul will always send counterfeits right before God sends the real ones. So learn to wait. Learn to test. Don't become so desperate for connection that you hand the keys of your heart to someone who only knows how to smile. Just because someone feels good doesn't mean they're good for you. Some of the most dangerous people are the ones who appear safe, speak gently, and move quickly. They'll say, "I've got your back," but what they really mean is, "I'm getting close enough to stab it." And what hurts the most is that while they demand your trust, they never offer theirs. They keep their lives private, their wounds hidden, their past locked away like a vault. Because they're not interested in real relationship, they're after control. They want the power to know everything about you without revealing anything about themselves. That's not love. That's manipulation. True trust doesn't take shortcuts. It's proven through time, through testing, through showing up when things get hard. So if someone's rushing you to trust them, stop and ask yourself, why the hurry? Why do they want access without accountability? Why do they want to know everything about me, but reveal nothing about themselves? Because here's the truth. What starts fast often falls apart just as fast. What begins with pressure usually ends with pain. The genuine ones won't mind waiting. They won't mind earning your trust, being questioned, or being tested. Because they're not trying to take, they're trying to build. So be wise. Don't mistake urgency for sincerity. Don't confuse closeness with commitment. And never confuse a good start with a godly foundation. Some people enter your life smiling, but they come with a strategy. They're not here to grow with you. They're here to grow off you. They don't love you. They love what you give. Once they've taken all they can, they'll leave. Or worse, they'll stay just long enough to break you. You must remember, not everyone who knocks on the door of your heart deserves to come in. Not everyone who shows up smiling is safe. And just because someone asks for your trust doesn't mean they've earned it. Watch their actions. Test their consistency. Notice how they treat others when no one is watching. Trust should move slowly. It should be careful. It should be earned, never demanded. There's a certain type of person you must be especially cautious with. They won't attack you outright or raise their voice. Instead, they'll whisper softly, "Did you hear what she did?" Or, "Let me tell you something, just between us." And in that moment, gossip slips into the room disguised as friendship. But don't be fooled. That spirit is anything but harmless. It's destructive, because if someone is comfortable tearing others down in front of you, you can be sure they'll do the same with your name when you're not around. Gossip isn't a small flaw, it's betrayal in seed form. It reveals everything you need to know about loyalty. If someone's mouth doesn't protect those who aren't present, it won't protect you when you're not around either. Some people carry stories like weapons. They don't collect information to help or to heal, but to gain control. They feed on drama and thrive on conflict. They'll disguise it as concern, saying, "I'm just worried about them." But that worry doesn't come with prayer, it comes with poison. The goal isn't to lift others up, it's to lower them in someone else's eyes. That's the nature of gossip. It divides relationships, destroys reputations, and deceives everyone it touches. The one who speaks, it becomes a vessel of strife. The one who listens becomes infected by suspicion. And the one being talked about is wounded without ever getting to defend themselves. It's evil hidden behind a smile. You might have friends who seem loyal, kind, and sincere, but if you really want to know their heart, listen to how they speak about others. Do they protect people's dignity, or do they trade in secrets like currency? Because when someone exposes others so easily, they're showing you what they truly value. And it's not trust or love, it's access. I've seen relationships crumble, not from big betrayals, but from small words whispered in dark corners. That's how the enemy works. He doesn't always destroy with a single blow. Sometimes he does it word by word, whisper by whisper, one twisted story at a time. And without discernment, you can become part of that destruction without even realizing it. Many have trusted people who use their pain as entertainment, confiding in them, opening their hearts, only to later hear their story on someone else's lips. That kind of wound runs deep. It shakes your faith in people. It makes you wonder who's safe to trust again. It makes you build walls, doesn't it? But hear me, God saw it. He knows what they did, He heard what they said, and He will handle them in His own time. As for you, don't let betrayal make you bitter. Let it make you wiser. When someone tries to pull you into a circle of gossip, you have a choice. You can join in, or you can walk away. You don't have to defend everyone's name, but you do need to guard your own spirit. Because the moment you participate, even in silence, you become part of the harm. You help spread the wound, and that's not who you were meant to be. God didn't create you to be a channel of division. He didn't save you to carry slander. You were made to speak life, to build, not to break, to protect, not to expose. So let your mouth be a gate of grace, not a window for gossip. When someone starts talking about others, stop them. Shift the topic. Confront the spirit behind it. And if they keep going, no matter how nice they seem or how long you've known them, walk away. Because if they talk about everyone else, one day they'll talk about you too. Not all evil shows up with anger or confrontation. Some of it wears a smile. They don't come throwing punches, they come bearing gifts. They don't argue, they offer favors. They don't shout, they charm. And they don't take by force, they take by deception. They trap you with kindness. That's how the enemy often works through people. Appearing generous, thoughtful, and helpful. But beneath all that so-called goodness lies one hidden agenda: control. Some give, not out of love, but to hold something over your head. They do favors not to bless you, but to bind you. It may look like compassion, but it's manipulation. It may feel like support, but it's a setup. Because the moment you need space, the moment you say no, they remind you of everything they've ever done for you. After all I've done for you. And just like that, the strings tighten. The kindness fades. The help turns into pressure. When someone gives with hidden conditions, that's not a gift, it's a trap. A godly heart gives freely. It doesn't expect repayment or loyalty in return. But an evil heart keeps score. It remembers every favor, every moment you needed them. They don't want to support you, they want to own you. Because as long as you need them, they hold the power. Some people would rather control you with kindness than bless you in truth. They arrive looking like rescuers, pretending they're here to save you. But in reality, they want to be the reason you survive, so you'll never learn to stand on your own. They want to be the hero of your story, just so they can remind you that without them, you'd never have made it. And here's the danger. You start to feel guilty for growing beyond them. You start to feel obligated to people God only meant to keep in your life for a season. You begin shrinking your world just to make them comfortable in it. And that's where the bondage begins. You may think it's love because it came with a smile. You may think it's care because it came with a helping hand. But love doesn't imprison. Real care doesn't manipulate. True support never chains you to obligation. If you have to pay for someone's kindness with your freedom, it was never love. It was control from the very beginning. Some of you are stuck in relationships, friendships, even family ties where you're constantly reminded of what someone has done for you. You carry that weight like a silent debt. You feel like you can't say no, like you owe your future to the one who helped you in your past. But hear this, love doesn't demand your life in exchange for a favor. God may have used that person to bless you for a moment, but He never gave them permission to hold your destiny hostage. Manipulators are subtle. They don't use force, they use guilt. They don't shout, they raise expectations. They wrap control in kindness, making you doubt yourself. And when you finally set boundaries, they play the victim, saying, "I can't believe you do this to me after everything I've done for you." But what they really mean is, "I can't believe I'm losing control over you." That's not love speaking. It's pride, it's entitlement. It's someone who gave, not to serve, but to secure their place in your life. That's why discernment is essential. You have to ask yourself, is this person helping because they care, or because they want to control how far I go without them? Are they truly cheering me on, or keeping me dependent so I'll never outgrow their reach? Because someone who truly loves you will celebrate your growth, even if it means you no longer need them the same way. No one who genuinely loves you will guilt you for becoming stronger. No one who truly cares will make you feel small just because you've learned to stand on your own. Those who give from a pure heart don't look for repayment. They rejoice when you rise. They don't throw their favors in your face. They thank God they were part of your journey. But those who act nice to maintain control, who keep score, who use kindness as currency, they're not helping you, they're holding you. It's time to break free from that grip. Don't be fooled by sweet actions hiding bitter motives. Pray for discernment. Look beneath the surface. Because sometimes, the same hand that feeds you is the one building your cage. And some of the most dangerous people you'll meet aren't the ones who wound you openly, but the ones who cry the loudest after causing the pain. They play the victim, they act broken, they pretend to be the ones betrayed, while you're left trying to make sense of the hurt they created. And it's confusing, isn't it? When someone cries, your instinct is to comfort them. When they look fragile, you want to protect them. But not every tear is honest, not every wound is real, and not every victim is innocent. There are people who will hurt you with one hand, then hold up the other as if they've been wounded. They'll damage you in private, then run to the crowd and tell a story that makes them look like the one who barely survived you. They twist the truth. They flip the script. Suddenly, the one who fought for peace becomes the villain, while the one who created chaos becomes the hero of their own story. They're not searching for healing, they're seeking sympathy. Not because they need comfort, but because it gives them control. There's something dark about a person who can cause destruction and then play innocent. It's one thing to be broken, it's another to be deceitful. When someone manipulates pain, they're not driven by truth, but by pride and the need to dominate the narrative. They don't want reconciliation, they want attention. They crave power, not peace. And the more people they can convince with their story, the safer they feel behind their lies. That's why some of you have found yourselves apologizing for things you never did, carrying guilt for burdens that were never yours. You were up against someone who cried louder than you could explain, someone who painted you as the villain because facing their own reflection was too painful. And when your heart is tender, when your intentions are pure, their tears make you question your truth. You start to wonder, was I too harsh? Did I cause this? Should I have done more? But deep down, you know the truth. You were the one who finally stood up, the one who finally drew the line. You were the one who finally said, no more. And let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. There's nothing evil about walking away from people who refuse to take responsibility. Just because someone cries doesn't mean you're the one who hurt them. Some people cry not out of pain, but because they've been exposed. They're not mourning the loss of your presence. They're mourning the loss of their control. And they'll use tears as a weapon, pulling others into their illusion, making sure they appear as the one left behind, never the one who pushed you away. You have to recognize the difference between repentance and manipulation. A repentant heart says, I was wrong. A manipulative heart says, I can't believe you're doing this to me. One seeks forgiveness, the other seeks control. One takes ownership, the other shifts blame. And when you're dealing with someone who always finds a way to become the victim, peace will never come, because in their story, it's always your fault. They'll rewrite history, erase their part, and paint you as the storm in a chaos they created. It takes strength to walk away from someone who cries but never changes. It takes courage to say, your pain is not my punishment. Too often, we mistake kindness for silence and compassion for tolerance. But love isn't letting someone blame you forever. Love isn't allowing them to play the victim while destroying your peace. Real love speaks truth. Real love knows when to step back so healing can begin. Some of you have been in relationships where your name was dragged, your intentions questioned, your heart misunderstood, while the very person who broke you walked away claiming they were the one who suffered. And I want you to remember this. God knows the truth. He sees the motive behind every tear and the heart behind every story. In His timing, He will expose every lie spoken against you. So don't waste your energy trying to convince people who are determined to misunderstand you. Don't defend yourself to those who wear their pain like a costume and use it to silence truth. Let God be your defender. Let Him handle what you cannot. Because when people weaponize their tears, they're not crying from the soul, they're crying from strategy. And sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is walk away. Not in bitterness, but in wisdom. Not in hate, but in peace. Not because you don't care, but because you finally understand. Love doesn't mean staying where you're constantly blamed for what you didn't break. There are people who've mastered the language of light while living in darkness. They know how to sound spiritual, how to act moral, how to appear principled and pure. But if you watch closely, when the spotlight fades and no one's watching, you'll see something different behind the scenes. They imitate righteousness, but they lack conviction. They wear holiness like a costume, not a calling. They quote scripture, but never live it. They talk about grace, yet show none to others. They post about love, but hold bitterness in their hearts. And though you might be tempted to believe them because they look good on the outside, remember this: the Lord said, "You will know them by their fruits." Not by their words, not by their charm, not by the image they project. What someone truly believes isn't proven by what they say when the crowd is watching. It's revealed by what they do when no one else is around. These people are often hard to recognize at first because they know how to perform. They've mastered the art of appearing good, rehearsed how to sound humble, but deep down, their hearts are far from the truth they preach. They've learned to wear the appearance of light without ever letting that light change them. And that's the danger. When someone has the form of godliness but denies its power, they become a contradiction. They sound holy but live hidden. They preach integrity while practicing deception. If you're not careful, you'll be drawn to their image and blinded to their reality. And understand this: it's not about perfection. We all fall short. But there's a difference between someone who struggles with sin and someone who lives in it while pretending they don't. There's a difference between a heart seeking God and a voice using his name to manipulate. The one who truly struggles feels broken over their weakness. But the one who mimics morality feels no conviction, only fear of being exposed. That's why you must test the fruit. Don't be moved by what people say. Watch how they live. Time always tells the truth. People can perform for a while, but consistency, or the lack of it, reveals everything. If someone's life doesn't match their message, that's not inspiration. It's deception. They're not leading you to truth. They're drawing you into illusion because they never wanted transformation in the first place. They don't truly want to walk with God. They just want to look like they do. Why? Because appearance earns them trust, loyalty, and sometimes your silence. Some of the most dangerous people in your life aren't the ones who openly rebel against what's right. They're the ones who pretend to uphold it while secretly tearing it down. They preach purity while living in compromise. They teach forgiveness, yet hold grudges for years. They warn others about pride, but remain blind to their own. They look like leaders, but they're actors, polished on the outside, hollow on the inside. And when you dare to call them out, they'll say you're judging. If you question the gap between their words and actions, they'll accuse you of being harsh or unspiritual. Why? Because those who have something to hide will always attack the light that exposes it. But don't let their defensiveness silence your discernment. Truth isn't cruelty. Truth doesn't condemn, it corrects. Anyone truly walking with God won't fear accountability. They'll welcome it. Real conviction invites inspection, but false morality runs from it. That's why so many of you have felt confused. You met people who sounded so right, looked so righteous, yet left you wounded, used, and betrayed. You asked yourself, how could someone who speaks about God act like this? The answer is simple. They never truly walked with him. They only learned how to speak his language. They built a platform, not a relationship. And the weight of that lie will always collapse. So be careful who you follow, and be careful who you admire. Be careful who you allow to influence your thoughts, your heart, and your path. Not everyone who says, "Lord, Lord," truly lives by his word. Not everyone who speaks truth is surrendered to it. Look deeper. Listen longer. Watch closer. Don't let smooth words deceive you. Don't let charisma blind you to character. Because when the storm comes and the winds begin to blow, only what's built on the rock will stand. If someone's life is built on lies, even ones wrapped in spiritual language, it will eventually collapse. And when it does, it won't just break them. It will shake everyone they've deceived along the way. That's why we don't follow personalities. We follow truth. We don't chase appearances. We chase God. Because only truth endures the test of time, and only light can expose what's been hiding in the dark. Thank you for watching. I wish you health, happiness, and peace. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.